What's up, it's Jan, back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is gonna be my book haul for the months of May and June. Enjoy. Alright, so May and June instead of just May or just June because my birthday is July 6th and I want to be on top of these book hauls and just have like my birthday month book haul on its own and not have to combine. It's a whole thing, okay, I thought it through, but now we have 80 books to talk about, give or take a couple, I think. We have a box set that I just counted as one. We have like a whole series. Yeah, so give or take 80 books. I'm gonna start with disclaimers, okay? Number one, it's my money, I can do what I want. Number two, a lot of these are gifts anyway from publishers, subscribers, Joey, etc. Number three, well, first of all, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter regardless, because again, number two goes back to number one. I work hard for my money and this is what makes me happy. Number three, am I number three? I'm on number three, right? What was number three? Oh, if you are one who I ripped this book, sorry. If you're one who likes full synopses being read out to you, I am not the one. This is not the channel. Exit out right now if that's what you're looking for, because you will not find it here. I will say why I bought the book, the buzzwords that intrigued me, maybe a story behind the book, who gifted it to me, whatever, but full synopses, Google is free. Google and Goodreads, in fact, are both free. I think that's all the housekeeping I needed to say. We're gonna go quickly because we have a limited amount of time as always, but we're gonna start with gifts as usual for these book hauls because I love expressing gratitude on this channel. I have them separated in piles by kind of genre, gifted versus not, books I'm like kind of in the middle of or have already read. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's start with my Aardvark books because I love them and I have a discount code for y'all to save a lot of money. So Aardvark Book Club box is a book box subscription that's $17.99 a month, and then you can have add-ons as well for $9.99. But I do have a discount code where you can get your first box for $4 plus free shipping. So you could use code JAN at checkout to get that money saved, my dudes, you know? So I got 3 books this month, but one of them is a St. Martin's Press imprint and the marketing boycott is still going on. So I am not including that in this haul, but I do have 2 other great options. We have Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis. And this is like cozy comedic fantasy. It seems like a silly goofy time. There are vampires, goblins, a garlic festival, I think someone with no eyebrows. Yeah, a half-destroyed evil wizard's workshop with no eyebrows, no memories, and no idea how long you have before the dread lord whomever shows up to murder you horribly and then turn your skull into a goblet or something. So it just seems like a silly goofy time. I feel like it's the same vibes as like Assistant to the Villain, which I haven't read, so I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm excited to read this. I love the cover so much and I talk about it all the time, but Aardvark naked covers, the buttery matte, can't get over it, will never get over it. I'll have their website linked down below as well as my discount code, and everything will be down there as well. But the other book I got was Perfume and Pain by Anna Dorn, who's the author of Exalted, which is one of my most underrated all-time favorite books, in my opinion. I've only heard a few people talk about it. A couple of those few people were ones I recommended the book to. So Anna Dorn is a very talented writer. I loved Exalted so much. This is also, I believe, sapphic, PhD student researching 1950s lesbian pulp fiction, and then Penelope, a nosy neighbor living off Urban Outfitters settlement money. Okay? I don't know. This was an auto-buy author choice, okay? I love Anna Dorn, so there's that. Next up, we have one of my most anticipated releases of 2024. I actually got a physical ARC from Penguin, I believe. Yeah, An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson, who wrote House of Hunger and The Year of the Witching. I read 4 pages of this book and I'm already obsessed. I am just so grateful. I squealed. I was not expecting this to come in the mail. I've never felt so lucky. This is dark academia. I loved House of Hunger. The Year of the Witching I gave 3 stars, but I love her atmospheric writing. I don't know what else to say besides dark academia. Rachel Harrison blurbed it and it says, an utterly enchanting dark academia stunner infused with Henderson's signature style. It's lush, atmospheric, imaginative, and impossible to put down. So yeah, there's magic. It's like a gothic dark academia fantasy. That's the vibe I've gotten from 4 pages and what's on the back. So yeah, this comes out, when does this come out? September 17th. I am definitely gonna be reading this before it comes out. Mark my words. I guess we'll go into gifts from subscribers and other publishers in this pile. There's no particular order. I'm just going by the stack, okay? This is a book I just finished reading a couple days ago. Crossroads by Devney Perry. This is a small town romance set in Montana on a ranch, and it's very yeehaw vibes. Loved it. This is a second chance romance, so that's a buzzword for me. This is from my lovely friend Kat from Kat's Beginnings on BookTube and Instagram. She was one of my first YouTube friends ever, so she has a special place in my heart. She wrote a note for your yeehaw Hannah Montana era. And this was one of 2 books that she got me for hitting 10,000 subscribers. So thank you, Kat. I just gotta find the other book somewhere in this pile. It'll come around. Next, we have Lore Olympus Volume 6, which I already read as well, literally like the day after I got it in the mail. This is from one of my vampies who I just met in person and hung out with twice now, Jessie from Jessie Chamber Reads, I think is her Instagram. Sending you love and books. The world might be on fire, but thank you for bringing us vamps joy and community. Like, how fucking cute. I think I gave this 4 stars. I love Lore Olympus. These are the only graphic novels I own, like period. And I didn't realize that there's going to be a 7th one. And I heard rumors that there might be even more than that. I don't know why I thought this was the last one. I think it's because Amazon said book 6 of 6 or whatever, but I hope it never ends because I freaking love Lore Olympus. It's about Greek gods. The art style is like my favorite thing ever because every character is a different color. It's just so well done.
So well done.
Next, we have a book that Joey bought me on our little road trip when we went horseback riding recently. That vlog is Patreon only because it happened to be the weekend of our Lair readathon. So that's over there, but I have plenty of pictures on Instagram of me on a horse. But he got me All the Lovers in the Night by Miko Kawakami. I bought this because my friend McKay wants to buddy read it eventually. So hopefully that happens because I suck at buddy reads. It is like a lit fic. This is the author of Breasts and Eggs. There's a freelance writer in her 30s working and living alone in a city. And I think it's just like navigating life in your 30s. It says it's an acute and insightful. It will make readers laugh and cry. And it will also remind them, as only the best books do, that sometimes the pain is worth it. Like, how good does that sound? It's so small, so I hope it tugs at my heartstrings as much as I'm expecting it to. Next, we have a book from one of my subscribers slash friends I met in college, actually. We took a YA lit class together at Purdue, and she found me on BookTube through Kayla. Her name's Angela, and she's Paperbacks Galore on YouTube, I believe, and Instagram. She says, I'm so glad I found your channel because of the Literally Dead Book Club. I love your videos. I've enjoyed chatting with you about books. I love the Beartown series. I hope you do too. So she got me Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I love Frederick Bachman's writing. I've read Anxious People and A Man Called Ova and Every Morning The Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. I think that's the title. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I actually DNF'd this on audio, but I have been meaning to try it physically because I know it's gonna make me cry. He's a very talented writer. He really knows how to like develop characters well, and I know this is like a small town. I know it's like a lot about hockey, and the 3rd one I believe came out last year, The Winners, and I know it's a huge book, so I gotta get cracking. Thank you, Angela. Next, we have a book from Sash Reads. I talk about her all the time. She's my Australian friend here on BookTube. I love her so much, and she got me Radiance by Grace Draven. She says, life sucks, have some books. I'll link her channel down below. She's incredible. This is a fantasy romance that's apparently like really easy to fly through and super cute. Steph from Stephanie Bookish just read this too, and she said she was really loving it. Tiffany, one of my vampies, actually was the one who recommended this to me, so I put it on my wish list and then Sash gave it to me. That's super cute, but I honestly have no idea what it's about. The next 2 are other books that came with the Lore Olympus package from Jessie. She got me Word Slut by Amanda Montell. I love Amanda Montell. This is a nonfiction. I just read her newest book, The Age of Magical Overthinking, which was really good. And I also read Cultish a couple years ago and really learned a lot from that as well. She's a linguist, so this says it's a feminist guide to taking back the English language. So I'm assuming it talks a lot about like gendered words like slut, housewife, hussy, bitch, etc. I'm excited for this. This will be one of my they're pictures. One of my nonfiction picks one of these months because she knows what she's talking about. She also got me Witch of Wild Things by Raquel Vasquez Gilliland. I honestly forgot this was on my wish list, and then I read the back, saw the cover, and I was like, oh yeah, yep, I'm still interested. The little blurb at the top says, legend has it that long ago a Flores woman offended the old gods, and now the family's daughters are cursed with a touch of magic. Obviously it's witchy, it looks cozy, it's short. This cover just has all the cozy, cute things. It looks like there's gonna be some sort of romance too, because there's a couple down there. I'm gonna read this in the fall, hopefully. Next, we have another yeehaw romance. I actually have a huge stack of romances right here. This is the top of it. This is all romance. I'm still in that romance romance phase. I don't think it's going away at this point. I mean, I'm still like an all genre channel, don't you fret, but there will be more romance than the past years. I don't know why. I mean, I've always read romance. Now it's just like I'm more drawn to them for some reason. Like I used to not purchase romances at all because I'm like, okay, I read it, like whatever. But I found some gems, okay? This one I've heard nobody talk about, but it was like an Amazon suggestion, so I added it to my wish list and Deja got it for me. She said, loving your wish list. I know life hasn't been great lately, but I hope this book gives you comfort for your inner yeehaw soul. Your videos keep me thriving as I am also going through a hard time. I unboxed this during one of my vlogs, so I already thanked her and everything, but thank you again, Deja, and I hope things are better for you now. This is Bourbon Lullaby by Walker Rose. This is like a CEO of this like whiskey, no, it's fucking bourbon, Jan. This bourbon business. And it says he's a broody grump named Miles, also set in Montana. The main female character is gonna be his assistant, and I just love that boss-assistant dynamic. Anna Huang does it a lot too, and I just love it for some reason. I don't know. And I also love this cover. This is a series, so I'm hoping I like it enough to continue because I love all the covers. Next, we have a book from Penguin Teen. Thank you so much, Penguin Teen, for Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. I have no idea what this is about. I just know there are dragons, obviously, and it's by an Asian author, so I was intrigued. There's an unexpected murder, like her father, his unexpected murder. She's determined to discover why anyone would threaten a man who ultimately chose a quiet life over fame and fortune. She's left with her father's journal, engineering secrets, and a jade pendant snatched from the assassin. She has to follow the trail to the capital in the Engineers Guild, disguised as her brother. That's what it was. Isn't it like a Mulan type of reimagining? Yeah, it sounds so good. Thank you, Penguin. Next, we have another book from Joey that he bought me at the indie bookstore on that road trip we went on. Sorry if the lighting's changing. I'm not using my ring light or anything because I don't want my head to hurt, so we're gonna deal with it. He got me The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I have no idea if I'm gonna like this, but I know I like the naked cover, not having a dust jacket. A Holmes and Watson style detective duo take the stage in this fantasy with a mystery twist. I mean, I've heard decent things about this. I just don't know if it's my kind of book, but Joey was like, let me just buy it for you because he was spoiling me that weekend, and I was like, okay. Dude, what the fuck? This entire time, I thought this was an anchor. So I thought this was like on a boat. Dude, I thought this was an anchor. It's not a fucking anchor. It's flowers. I'm so shook. It's fucking flowers. Also, are those the flowers that were like on the Whispering Dark cover by Kelly Andrew? I'm so shocked. I need to know if anyone else thought that. Please comment down below if you thought this was an anchor as well. Please help me feel better. Otherwise, I'm gonna post it on Instagram and Discord. I'm gonna put that to the side. Next, we have a book that just came out as well. Haven't gotten to it yet. Sorry, Tor. But they just sent me Craft Stories I Wrote for the Devil by Amanda Lima. This is perfect timing actually though, because I have been more in the mood for short stories thanks to Noelle's masterpiece of a video where she read 100 short stories in 100 days. Go check it out. I will link it down below. She's incredible. Yeah, it's just like horror, witchy, thrilling short stories. At a Halloween party in 1999, a writer slept with the devil. She sees him again and again throughout her life, and she writes stories for him about things that are both impossible and true. And it's a shorty. This will be read very soon. Next, we have another book from Penguin Teen. It's called The Teller of Small Fortunes. This comes out in November 5th. It's by Julie Leong, and this is the cutest freaking cover ever. I know there's like, oh, Joey's back. Hello, what happened? Hold on, pause. Didn't I tell you this was an anchor? I was like, look for the book with the anchor in the on the table. It's not a fucking anchor!
What is it?
It's flowers coming out of a cup. A tainted cup, if you will.
Oh.
Dude, I thought it was an anchor since this book came out. I thought it was an anchor.
Whoops.
That's crazy. Anyway, this book, I actually have a digital arc for it too, but now I can read it physically. So it says, a wandering fortune teller finds an unexpected family in this warm and wonderful debut fantasy, perfect for readers of Travis Baldry and Sangu Mandana, who wrote The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I loved. And obviously I loved Legends and Lattes. This one has like animal companions. I think she has like a mule. Yeah, she has a trusty mule for company. She only tells small fortunes. It just sounds so cozy. Once again, it seems like a quick read. It seems fun. So thank you, Penguin Teen. Oh, here is the other book from Kat, Untamed by Ivy Jackson. I bought the first book. This is another Yeehaw series that I heard nobody talk about, but I bought Burned recently. So I guess we'll get this out of the way, but Kat bought me the second book. I haven't read either of them yet. The first book, it looks like Grumpy Single Dad, who's also my boss. That's that trope. This says, we were best friends, but I wanted more. Childhood friends to lovers. Maybe the second chance wasn't such a great idea after all. Second chance romance. So, if nothing else, I'll read the first book just to get to that second chance romance. Now we can also talk about this series that I have because Christina bought me the fifth book because I bought 4 of them from Pango. We've got the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. I won't say I liked Sophie Lark's writing because it's really not great, but it was fun when I read The Sinner's Duet. I know it has its issues, okay, I know, but I had a fun time reading it regardless. So I found that these indie editions for super cheap on Pango, and I figured they're indies, so they'll sell if I don't like them. But I hate the font, so I was like, let me add the last 2 books on my Amazon wishlist because I like this cover better for this cowboy one. But yeah, thank you, Christina, for this. She said, 10K, bitch. I love being here and watch you grow. I still remember you crying when you hit 1K. I love you so much, and I'm so proud to call you my best friend. Love, your long distance bestie, from Christina. Like, how cute is she? Yeah, so each one, I don't know who they follow, to be honest. This one's obviously a cowboy one. There's a second chance one again. It's a romance series. There you go. The other book that Christina got me is Spark of the Everflame. Where's the note? One of my new favorite series of all time, so I had to get it for you. I love you so much, bitch. I love you too, Christina. Thank you for this, because I was feeling the FOMO of everyone living, laughing, loving this book. Does it have dragons? I don't know. When old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. You've probably seen this book on Bookstagram and BookTube. Like, everyone's talking about it, at least the past couple months. But it's the first in the series by Penn Cole, called The Kindred's Curse Saga. It says, in a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel magic-wielding offspring yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. That's all I needed. Next, we have a book from my good friend Liv from Liv's Library. She got me Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. She said, bestie, I had to send a little congratulations for hitting 10K. It's the best feeling and you've worked harder than anyone I know. You know I had to get this since it's my fave of the year so far. I love you so much. I love you too, Liv. Thank you. I actually have this as a digital ARC, but I'm glad I have the physical copy because I know I'm gonna love Abby, okay? I just haven't jumped into it yet. I started Part of Your World like 2 years ago. I have the ARC. I have 4 of her books now. So we're gonna get there. Okay, we're gonna get there. I just can't with all this hype over this book. I need it to pass. And then she'll probably come out with another book and it'll be the same excuse all over again. But I will get to Part of Your World because I am so intrigued by that like small town versus city girl situation. So I will get to this eventually. It will probably be one of my few exceptions of summer books that I actually enjoy. I'm excited to get to it. I just don't know when. Next is another book from Sash. She sent this with her box of Australian snacks that Joey and I taste tested for a Patreon Carmilla patron video, and she included this book in that box as well. So thank you so much, Sash. She got me Night Crawling by Layla Motley. I love this cover way more than the US one, and I didn't even know it existed. So thank you. But this is a lit fic about this girl who I believe is a sex worker, I want to say. I heard it's really good. I think it's won awards or something, but I know it's a debut and the author killed it that year that this came out. So excited to finally get to this one. The next one is by Sweet BB Angel Kendall from Kendall's Pages. She got me Forged by Magic by Jenna Wolfhart, and she said, this is a must read and you need a little treat for hitting 10K. I'm so happy for you and you deserve it and so much more. I'm so lucky to know you and call you a friend. I love you so much, Jan. And I love you too, Kendall. This was such an unexpected surprise. Thank you. And I know you love this book. I had it on KU and I was like, I really love this cover. It's so cute. So I was like holding off on starting it, and Kendall was telling me how badly she wanted me to read it and like how cute she thought it was and how good it is. So I am excited. It says a whimsical feel-good fantasy romance with a helping of spice and only a pinch of danger. And that's all I know. I have no idea. I don't even know which creatures are in here. Half orcs. To earn her freedom, she must journey to the mysterious Isles of Fable and track down wielders of outlawed dragon magic. Yep, all I need. Moving on. Okay, the last gift we have is from one of my vampies, Amanda. She got me Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose in this cool Barnes & Noble exclusive slipcase thing. Joey just read this. He was actually the one who was interested in it. I was interested in it initially. He like saw it at Barnes & Noble and I was like, don't get that. I heard bad things. But then I saw McKay gave it a 4 and I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit interested. And he thought it was decent, but I'm excited to read it as well because I love these creative VHS covers that have been coming out recently. Those are all the gifts. Now we'll talk about the books that I've read / in the middle of. So I got another Dracula edition. I think this is my 11th or 12th edition, but it was only $10. No, it wasn't. It was $14.99, but still, I got it from an indie bookstore, so support your indies. It says the children of the night, what music they make on the back. There's garlic and a steak, bats on the front, and it's just so cute. There's a coffin on the spine. I collect Dracula editions if that weren't obvious already. Obviously, I read it already. Thankfully, right? Can you imagine having 11 copies of a book I didn't even read? Next, we have Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, which I already read, gave it 5 stars. Spoiler for my June wrap-up. This is the second book to Done and Dusted, another yeehaw. Really enjoyed this one. It's about this girl, Ada, who is renovating, interior designing this part of the ranch. She's like a city girl, and obviously she's going to this like small town ranch situation. They make out at a bar in the first chapter, and then they realize that she's working for him to renovate this place, and I loved it. Steamy scenes were good. I'll link my vlog down below if I remember. Next book is The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. I gave this 4 stars, I think. This is the author of Ripe, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I was like, yeah, I have to read everything this author writes. So I bought this. It's about this girl who has this rare condition where she was born with her stomach literally like a bulge and like a knot. She, her mom, and one other family member were the only ones ever who have this condition. And so she's just like going through life, getting made fun of, being mistreated, dealing with all this like medical shit where she tries to like fix it, and people telling her all these different things. And there's also commentary on like female autonomy, toxic familial relationships. There are fun facts all throughout, so that was fun. And it's like formatted pretty weirdly. There are all these capital letters and negative space. It was a fun read, but also kind of depressing. Check trigger warnings for sure, because there's an asshole guy who deserved more repercussions for shit he pulled. Next, we have a book I finished on June 1st. It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anne DeMarkin. I heard about this book from Leah Crumpton, which I mentioned in my vlog. I'll just link that vlog down below, but this is like a zombie book. It's really short. It has that poetic, flowery prose. It's not for everyone, but I liked it. Gave it 4 stars. Next, we have Leather and Lark, which was one of my Book of the Month books by Bryn Weaver. This is the sequel to Butcher and Blackbird, and I was quite disappointed. Vlog coming soon about this with Katie from Katie Colson. Look out for that on her channel. Don't know when it's going up, but I did read it, and I'll talk about it more on my wrap-up. It's a serial killer romance. I didn't say that already. Next is a very exciting book that's not out in the US yet, but it is out in the UK, so of course I ordered it from Blackwell's. The special edition of Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors? I don't know, the author of Cleopatra and Frankenstein, which holds a special place in my heart because that was the book that I was discussing with Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages for her book club on the night of Joey and I's first date. So, love that book. Will love this book for sure. I started it. I'm on page 14. I'm already in love with the characters. There are the 4 sisters' names on the pages. The inside has nothing. It's just blue. I'm so excited to have this, and I will definitely finish this soon before it comes out in September, I believe is when it comes out here. Next, we have a special edition box set from LitJoy Crate. I got this from Pango. Don't you worry, I did not pay full price for this, but it's in perfect condition. This is the Daughters of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. Comes in this pretty foil-y box. I've only read the first 2. I'm just gonna do a quick overview. I have an Instagram reel where I gave y'all a closer look, but it has art prints within. This is what got me, y'all. Like, there are art prints just within the book. Like, look at her. She's so pretty. And then there are like annotations from Laini Taylor herself all throughout the book. I love when books do that, especially for authors I actually, love. Here's Days of Blood and Starlight. Got the silver pages as well. There's art, end pages. I just love books with end pages that are different on the front and the back. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler. 3rd book, and it comes with a ribbon bookmark as well. I still have to read this one. I think what I'm gonna do is read my regular edition, because I have the regular paperback box set, and then upon reread, because I know I'll reread this series. I love it so much. Laini Taylor's writing is incredible. Then I'll read these books when I do a reread, because I already annotated the first 2. I'm not just gonna leave the 3rd one hanging, Yeah, I got that for not super cheap, but cheaper on Pango. I have no regrets. No regrets whatsoever, because definitely worth it. I'm just gonna go here because it's easier for me to reach. Next, I have a copy of All's Well by Mona Awad, which is actually my June Lair Bloody read that I'm gonna start like today. I actually had an ARC copy of this, but it had like negative energy with it. It was associated with negative things, so I got me a brand new fresh copy. It's actually not brand new, it's from Half Price Books, but I love this cover more anyway. Mona Awad, I loved Bunny. This is about a woman with chronic pain, so could relate, and I'm excited. I heard the first few chapters are very descriptive in terms of the chronic pain, to the point where Tiffany, the patron I mentioned earlier, said that she felt like she was getting an inflammation just reading it. But I've been putting this off for this long because I'm scared of the Shakespeare in this. But I heard it's not too daunting, so we shall see. Next, I have Allow Me to Introduce Myself by Onyi Nwabineli. This is the author of Someday Maybe. Sorry if I butchered that name really badly. I'm sure I did. And this is about a girl whose stepmom was an influencer. So her personal life was all exposed to the public most of her life, and now she's 25 and she's trying to get her like privacy back and her life back, and she doesn't want to be part of that world anymore. So I'm excited for this because I feel like a lot of it will be relatable being on the interwebs, you know? Next we have Kitten Tits by Holly Wilson. I haven't heard anybody talk about this book, but I just saw it on some suggestion. I don't remember where I saw this. This is like a coming of age situation. It's 1992, and for some of it we're in the perspective of a 10-year-old, and she like runs away, becomes besties with this 23-year-old or something. A dirt biking ex-con with a shady past. I don't know. There's a lot going on with these two people's lives. I'm curious as to why it's freaking called Kitten Tits. But look how cute with the shiny stars. Next, I have The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. You don't understand how long I've been eyeing this book and like picking it up, adding it to cart, putting it back, deleting it. Like, I have wanted this book since it was announced as Barnes & Noble's Book of the Year. It was like on every table. There's like posters and everything. You know that you see an ad 7 times and you're convinced to buy it? It definitely maximizes that and beyond, because I've seen it way more than 7 times. It's always intrigued me. I just didn't know why it took me this long to bite the bullet, but I bought it from an indie bookstore. All I know is it's a historical fiction in this town in Pennsylvania in 1972. They're like digging up the foundation of this house and they find a human skeleton, and so it's like a historical fiction mystery thing. And I heard James McBride's writing is impeccable, so excited for that one eventually. Next, we have Little Rot by Akweke Emezi. I just finished The Death of Vivek Oji by them for Full Moon Book Club, and I bought this as I was in the middle of that book. I'm really excited. I have no idea what it's about. Akweke Emezi is now an auto-buy author for me. I also love their memoir. One weekend, the elite underbelly of a Nigerian city, a party that goes awry, tangled web of sex and lies and corruption that leaves no one unscathed. I just love reading the little blurbs because that's all I need most of the time. This cover is just so funky fresh, you know? Akweke Emezi, if you haven't read anything by them, change that. Next, I have another book from Pango, Cursed Bread by Sophie McIntosh. This, I heard, is one of those like unhinged women books, kind of like creepy, unsettling. Don't really know what's going on. I think there's like a town that has something with the bread being bad. A teenage boy throws himself into the bonfire. A dark intoxication is spreading through the town. Widows see their lost husbands walking up the river at night. What the fuck? Cursed Bread is a fevered confession, an entry into memory's hall of mirrors, a fable of obsession and transformation. It just sounds so intriguing. It seems like one of those like weird horror-y fiction books. I'm here for it. Speaking of unhinged women, we have A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan. I believe this is another obsession story where this couple is like obsessed with this social media influencer, and then they see her or something and they become friends. I don't know. It says part millennial social comedy, part psychedelic horror. It's a sly, unflinching examination of the hidden drives that lurk just outside the frame of our carefully curated selves. Again, sounds relatable in the social media aspect, so see about this one. I know this hasn't been for everybody. I know a lot of people hate this book, but I feel like I'll be in the minority with this one. It seems like my kind of book. Minus the social media stuff, because I don't like that in books, but if it's done well, I can get behind it. Okay, next we have a romance, Mrs. Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler, because I saw Happy Medium on Aardvark and got that book, and I saw this one by the same author. It's a road trip book. It has 2 love stories decades apart, one chance to prove love is worth the ride. Mrs. Nash died and they're like bringing her ashes somewhere like important or whatever, and I think the romance is between the 2 people going on this road trip. I could be very wrong, but that's what I'm guessing. I heard this is heart-wrenching, makes some people cry maybe, I think, but it's also a rom-com. Next is a book I bought when I did my little Patreon meetup, The House on Vesper Sands by Parate O'Donnell. Not gonna lie, I only bought this because it was half off. It was on that BOGO table and I wanted another book from it. But this is a gothic, eerie ghost story. I've actually been eyeing this for a while, like since I worked at my first library that I worked at, but I'm glad it's in paperback now because I like the maroon burgundy with the butterflies more than the blue hardcover, I think. It's set in London, 1893, dark snowy night. It really sets the scene, so I'm excited. I hope I enjoy this one, but I'm scared. I'm really iffy about this one. This is one of those books that I'm gonna forget I own, so hopefully I get to it soon. Next is a book from Half Price Books. I got Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. I heard it's like kind of weird, kind of trippy. There's like a house with a bunch of rooms and doors and whatever. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls lined with thousands upon thousands of statues. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. I mean, it's a shorty, so we'll see how it plays out. Another book I got from Barnes & Noble when I went shopping with patrons was Pure Color by Sheila Heti. This was an impulse buy. It's short, it's lit fic. It has like that type of formatting where it seems like it's vignettes, and I love a good vignette book. They fly by, they usually have that impact that I love in short books. So we'll see. I think this is very like existential. I don't know. I've seen pretty bad reviews for this after I bought it, so I'm kind of nervous. But this cover is just so weird to me, so I was like, I need it. The last one in this stack is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. I've had this on my radar probably since Kayla read it. I'm pretty sure Kayla read this one because there's a bunny on the cover, but I don't remember if she read this edition. Did she even read this? I don't know. There are so many similar titles nowadays. I can't keep up, but I just know this talks about death a lot. Like this girl gets obsessed with the notion of death, and I'm like, that's me. I talk about death every single day of my life. Hopefully this is relatable. It's another short book. It's another book I got for buy one, get one half off just because it was on that table. I was like, let me just get it because I've been looking at it for years. So hopefully it delivers. All right, let's go to romances really quickly, okay? Okay. Another book of the month book I got was One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. Oh my god, that's so cute on the back. They're like in little stars. I think it's this writer and then this reviewer who gave her book a 1 star. A struggling writer is forced to walk down the aisle at her best friend's wedding with the man who gave her book a very public 1-star rating. Seems bookish, seems fun. Next we have A Cowgirl Romance, The Ride of Her Life by Jennifer Dugan. Need I say more? It's a sapphic romance in a small town. Enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, queer rom-com for fans of Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I am not a fan of Delilah Green Doesn't Care, but this seems like something I'd like better. I don't know. I've never read anything by this author. I saw this book and then forgot about it, and then one of my patrons, Destiny, mentioned it again, and I was like, oh yeah, let me buy that real quick. We've got more cowboy romances, y'all. We've got Alive and Wells. This is set on a ranch. There's an abusive ex-husband, and I think this is grumpy boss situation too. We have Tame the Heart by Ava Hunter. I've never heard anyone talk about these other than like pictures on Instagram that say like, oh, cowboy romances. I actually just searched on Amazon and found these. This is the Wells Ranch series. This is the Runaway Ranch series. Another grumpy cowboy rancher. A small town, again in Montana. There's a pattern here. I just love grumpy characters because I love the moment that they get soft. You know, that's what she said. The moment where they like start showing their soft side is what I mean. Especially if it's grumpy to everyone but you. Love that too. So I'm hoping there's a moment in either of those. And then we have a book that I got for $6 because I had a reward and I went to Barnes & Noble to treat myself for 10K, and this is all I got. Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. This is the Gold Rush Ranch series. Revitalizing the family's ranch is the goal. Grandfather's unexpected passing. He needs a win and he hires Billy Black. Wow, I'm so predictable. It's another boss assistant type of thing, or employee, whatever. Next we have another Devney Perry book, the author of Crossroads, Indigo Ridge. This was going around every social media ever because it's also on Kindle Unlimited like last year, and I was almost convinced to read it last year, and then I realized that there's something in it that was triggering at the time, but I believe I'm healing from it now. So we're jumping in. I didn't mind her writing. Her writing wasn't bad, but it wasn't like the greatest romance I've ever read. But I heard this one has more plot, more mystery aspects to it, so we'll see. about the Eden series is what it's called. Why do I have so much romance? This one I just got today. It's called The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. This is the author of Love in the Time of Serial Killers. I didn't know she was coming out with a new book, but it was kind of funny because I was like, I'm thinking of like sports romances that I could like, and the only ones I've liked so far really, besides like Take a Hint Danny Brown, which was rugby technically, but he was a retired rugby player, anyway, was the Bromance Book Club. And I was like, okay, let me find another baseball romance. And this one just was on a face out at Half Price Books, so I grabbed it. It is like a social media situation too, but it's a baseball romance. Okay, next we have the indie edition of The Spanish Love Deception. I am not interested in this book, but I kind of have FOMO just a little bit. I want to see what the hype's about, and I found the indie edition. So, again, if I hate it, I can sell it, and it'll probably sell since it's indie. But who knows? Maybe it won't. I just know there's a sex scene where the word milking is involved, and I just don't know if I can get past that. But I'm sure you've heard about this book by now, but there's a wedding in Spain, and they have to fake date and pretend to be each other's wedding date. I refuse to read this author's second book, though, because I heard that one's really bad. The American Roommate Experiment or whatever. There's another book I bought today, The League of Gentle Women Witches by India Holton. I didn't realize this was a second book, but it was only $7.99, and we're watching Bridgerton right now, so I wanted books with the same vibes, but this one's witchy. I know Katie from Katie is Reading loved this series, so I'm excited to see what's up. Another one that I got a little bit of FOMO about, but also there's a reason I got this from Pango, okay? I got When in Rome by Sarah Adams. As you can see, there are desserts on the cover, okay? And in July, my coffin covers challenge for my Patreon, which is like this reading challenge that I have every month that's kind of like Buzzwordathon, but instead of titles, it's covers. The word is desserts, so you have to look for desserts on a book cover and read that book, whatever. So I'm thinking of reading this book, but this is a cozy rom-com about a baker. And then I also got this book from Pango. The same seller was selling both of them. I just love this cover, even though it's like pink, you know, and flowers are everywhere, which are two things I don't like, but look at him. He's all tatted. I love him. Oh, yep, small town, once again. Small town sweetheart and an emotionally unavailable bad boy try to find some common ground in this chemistry-filled romance. I also want to read the cheat sheet. Even though I just said I don't want to read any sports romances, the rule book is on Aardvark, so. And then this one I just got in the mail yesterday or the other day, Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I loved Love Redesign. I loved the second and third books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Lauren Asher is just so good at building characters, just making you invested in their lives, and that's why I don't mind a 600-page romance by her. I don't even know the tropes for this one. Oh, grumpy single dad, secret crush on him in high school, he's a billionaire now. I'm a struggling workaholic who could inspire 100 breakup albums. Okay, so we got a workaholic, grumpy single dad. Oh, she's the nanny. That's what it was. Okay, battery has been changed. We are almost done. No, we're not. But we have spooky, thriller, horror books, and then we have fantasy. Okay, this book, Paradise Rot by Jenny Haval, I already read for my episode 4 of Do Your Worst, my Do Your Worst series, and this one was featuring Kitty from Spicy Cats Reads, so I'll just link that vlog down below because I already talked about it a ton of times. It's also in my May wrap-up, so I'll link that down below as well. Then we have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. Joey and I just went to a signing, so that's cute, and it was super fun. Heard him talk with Mary Kubika. The woman said Kubika when she introduced her, so I don't know. But y'all have heard of this. It's Riley Sager's new book this year. It's supposed to be super nostalgic, set in 1994. A guy goes missing, comes back or something as a ghost. I'm excited for it. Joey and I are gonna buddy read it because we both bought copies at the event. Next we have One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. I bought this the same day I bought Kitten Tits, and Alyssa Cole wrote When No One Is Watching, which I loved, so I'm excited that she has written another thriller because she also writes romance. But this has dissociative identity disorder representation, a riveting thriller about the new caretaker of a historic estate who finds herself trapped on an island with a murderer and the ghosts of her past. With the whole caretaker thing, it kind of seems like the only one left, and it feels like, I don't know why I keep thinking of The Clinic by Kate Quinn. I want to go into this as blindly as possible, so that's all I'm going to read up on. Next we have my Twisted Retreat book. Twisted Retreat is a book box subscription, but it's like horror, and it has like home stuff, like decor and like actual practical stuff, so I love them. But June's book, is this June's book or May's book? I don't know, but it was Blood Covenant by Alan Baxter. There's the inside, really cool, and then end pages, the spreads has this creepy guy on it, and it just says whatever happens, don't bleed. So I'm sure there's something that happens if you do bleed. It might be like a haunted house thing. I don't know. I'm just using context clues here. I don't want to read up on it. It's short. I don't want to know. Next is the book I got with House on Vesper Sands, Not Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. Okay, PSA. I think someone tried to buy me this book, but it never arrived. It was this book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and The Revenant games. Those all disappeared from my wish list, and they never arrived. So, if that was you, 1, please let me know so I can thank you, and 2, cancel your order or figure it out or something, because I don't want you losing out on money. Get your money back, because I don't know what happened. I've been getting other packages within these past months, so I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's like certain locations, certain addresses, I don't know, but I don't have them. So I bought this to replace that. I just know this has like a breaking the fourth wall type of situation, and it says one of the funniest books of the year, so it seems like there's humor in it, obviously, and there are like charts and illustrations, and it just seems like a murder mystery slash how-to, but like in a comedic way. I don't know what to expect. I got this from the library at one point, but I didn't end up reading it. I just returned it, and now I have the paperback. Another book I got from Half Price Books when my patrons and I met up, got Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. I read the Book of Accidents for my Do Your Worst episode for Kayla from Books and Lala, so I'll link that down below, but I love that one. This one is about people who sleepwalk and can't wake up until they make it to their destination or something like that. A sleepwalking epidemic awakens terror and violence, and as civilization collapses, the secret behind this phenomenon will either tear the society apart or bring the survivors together. I don't know, but it's a thick bitch, and I don't know when I'm gonna get to this, but I think before I get to this one, I'm definitely gonna read Black River Orchard first by this author, and then we'll see. It was $8.99, so I was like, okay, that's the cheapest I've seen it. Okay, next I have a book by Caitlin Marceau, who's the author of This Is Where We Talk Things Out, which I loved. Like, one of the easiest 5 stars I've ever given. But I got A Blackness Absolute, no idea what it's about. Oh, a collection of short horror. Perfect! Oh my god, look at this cat on the back. Yeah, so just short horror stories. Her writing was great. It was very riveting. One of the best thrillers I've ever read for sure. So I'm excited. Next we have Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I believe this is the book winning the poll right now over on Patreon for my July Lair Buddy Read thing that we're gonna discuss. I'm excited because I got this pretty Barnes & Noble exclusive edition where it has like author's annotations and this little section on the back where the author talks about his opinions on certain horror movies. So yeah, no idea what this is about. Another VHS looking cover. It says a chilling twist on the cursed film genre, and it's set in June 1993. Next we have String Follow by Simon Jacobs. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. I just saw it at Barnes & Noble and then I found it on Pango for way cheaper. It's about growing up in the Midwest, but eerie things happen. Wow, this red font is hard to read. A deliciously dark modern gothic that deftly mines the terrors and vicissitudes of the suburban teenager in a small town in Ohio. It seems like it's gonna give that like nostalgic feeling, but like creepy Midwestern town. I live in the Midwest, so anything like that intrigues me. Next, we have Small Horrors by Darcy Coates. I had this on Kindle Unlimited, but I was like, okay, if it's 50 short stories in this short-ass book that's under 300 pages, I want it physically, so I have the feeling of turning the pages quickly. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm psychotic, but I got this from Pango and it was cheap. I enjoyed Darcy Coates' writing in the past, so I'm excited for this. And then another short story collection. I told you, after watching Noelle's video, I bought like 3. Never Whistle at Night, edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr., introduction by Stephen Graham Jones. Each story is by different authors, and they're all Indigenous authors. Noelle did read this one in her video, so check that out. Fantasy we're gonna go pretty quickly because these are probably the most blindly I go into. The books that I go most blindly into. You know what I'm trying to say. We have another book of the month book, 5 Broken Blades by May Corland. It says let the best liar win. Apparently there's like 5 liars or something who are the best liars around, and they have this mission. They all have to get together. The 5 most dangerous liars have been summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the God King June. I heard someone say that there are 6 of them and not 5, and that the title was misleading, but I don't know if I just made that up. Next we have The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. I told myself I wouldn't buy this book, but it was killing me that I have The Stolen Heir and it's only a duology and I didn't have the second book. And I'm not getting rid of The Stolen Heir even though it was disappointing because it has sentimental value, because when I bought that book that was the first time I got recognized in public. So I was like, let me just find it on Pango. So I got the Barnes & Noble matching exclusive edition to The Stolen Heir copy that I have. This is a spin-off duology to The Folk of the Air. I'm nervous about it, but we're not going to talk about it. Next we have a cozy cottagecore fantasy, The Honey Witch. All I know about this is that it's super cozy. There's a witch who provides this honey to thick something. The honey witch is cursed to never find true love, but when she meets a young woman who doesn't believe in magic, she dares to hope for more. It's sapphic. I have a couple patrons who have enjoyed this one. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I bought this during my lunch break one day. I skedaddled over to Barnes & Noble and rushed to buy this on release day. This was 100% a Kendall from Kendall's Pages influence, A Feather So Black by Lyra Salid. I didn't really look into it. I thought it was a Black Swan retelling just based on the cover, but apparently it's not. It's fae. It says darkly enchanting, perfect mix of atmospheric fantasy, heart-stopping action, and delicious romance. I know Liv started reading this too and was obsessed immediately, so we shall see where I stand. Next we have The Bridge Kingdom by Daniela L. Jensen. You've heard about this. I found the indie edition from Half Price Books, so I was like, again, it'll sell if I don't like it. But I have a feeling I'd like it. I don't know. I know Cass really liked it. Cass and Katie. We shall see. And there are illustrations on the chapter headings. What if you fell in love with the one person you'd sworn to destroy? I know it's riveting. I know the plot does the damn thing, and it's a fantasy romance, so. Next is another witchy one, The Witches of Moonshine Manor. This is a pretty backlisted book, I think, by Bianca Murray. I believe it's 80-year-old witches, okay, 5 of them, and I think it's one of those where it's, I don't know if it's found family, more like friendship, modern day witches, a magical heist gone wrong, a looming threat. Seems like there's a mystery involved. I know there's humor in this because I've looked up out of context quotes. I love when books have elderly protagonists. Like, I'm always so intrigued. I need to get back on my witchy grind because I haven't read a solid witchy book in so long. Another cozy cottagecore situation is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I actually DNF'd House of Salt and Sorrows, so I put this off for a while, but then I actually really looked at the cover and it's so gorgeous. This is like supposedly culty, and that's all I needed to know. There's a place called Amity Falls and it's like isolated by this forest. I heard cult and I was like, yep, that sounds great, especially with this like non-culty looking cover. I don't even know what non-culty means, but you just wouldn't expect it to have those vibes, you know? We are actually almost done. The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang. I got this because it was one of Kayla's member book club things, but I didn't get to it on time. I got it from Pango for pretty cheap, so it's whatever. I know it's queer, it's a fantasy romance. I believe it's male in the year 4 BCE, 1740 as well, and then present day Los Angeles. Those are the 3 settings, it seems like. And it's pretty short. I believe it's a standalone. We've got a historical fantasy, Spitting Gold by Carmela Locus. This is one of my favorite covers of 2024, hands down. Irresistible gothic novel about sisterhood, seances, and sapphic love, set in Paris 1866. I've heard decent things about this. This was a book of the month pick as well, but I wanted the shiny foiling on it, so got it from Pango, as usual. Oh, I am a Pango ambassador, by the way, so if it's your first time using Pango, I believe you can get $5 off a $20 purchase if you use the code JAN. All my codes and stuff are linked down below. This one is Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. This is another witchy YA book, I believe. I got it for $2 from Half Price Books, the clearance section. So I heard good things about this in the past, but it's been a while since people talked about it since it's so backlisted, but I love this cover. And again, with the witchy books, we're trying to get back. And then lastly, another book I bought today at Half Price Books when I sold books and browsed around. I finally got my hands on The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Mahurin. This is the spin-off to the Serpent and Dove series, which I still have yet to finish. I have one more book left, but it's so big. It's so intimidating, but I've had it for so long. I remember being on a book buying ban and then being so sad I couldn't buy it, and then a subscriber bought it for me and I still have yet to read it. But maybe this will be my motivation, because this is a vampire one. The Serpent and Dove series is a witch and a witch hunter fantasy romance type of series, and it's YA, and this is the vampire spinoff. I think it's set in the same world but with vampires. Wow. Hello? These end pages. Oh! I didn't even look at the naked. Stop it. Cute. No regrets. $9.99? Sure. Okay, that's everything. I'm freaking tired. If you made it to the end of this video, let's put any cowboy emoji in the comments down below. Either the smiley face with the cowboy hat, a horse, the boots, whatever you want. Just because I had so many of them in this haul. Let me know if you're excited for any of these books, if I should prioritize any of them. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a 5-star day. Don't forget to do some self-care, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!